Thank you for having me here. Thanks for the invitation. I'm Valentin. I'm one of the co-founders of N26, and we've built Europe's first mobile bank. How did everything start? We actually started out with the idea that actually young people don't like to go into the bank branch. And most of them actually like to go to the dentist more than visiting a bank branch. And that's obviously a big topic if you have a multi-billion industry, but most of the people don't really like the players that are around there. I think our business is built on a couple of fundamental trends. The first trend is obviously the change in user behavior. So you don't like to go to an offline bank branch, but you really like to go do your banking on mobile everywhere and without restrictions. The second big trend, I think, is that you have to create a great mobile and technology product. And banks are obviously using most of the time technology that is 20 or even more years older, and that's very much limiting what they can do on their mobile. I think you cannot think of any bank today in Europe where you think they have produced a great mobile product, like Spotify or Uber or any of these products. So I think there's a big opportunity to create better products. I think another trend that we have based our product on is that we think that actually the difference between a good bank and a bad bank is not the construction of complex financial products, but it's the user engagement that you have and the touch points that you have. So we have customers that log into our app 25 to 30 times a month, and we have a great customer engagement. And therefore, actually, we said, okay, we shouldn't build all these complex financial products ourselves, but keep our balance sheet small and use the best innovations from around the world. And that's what we're doing, so we're trying to build a platform. We've just recently received our own banking license, so we have a European banking license that was given to us by the ECB, which was a big step for us, and enables us now actually to do banking all around Europe. So traditionally, you had banks just doing business in Germany, on the French market, maybe even just around Berlin or just in a certain specific regional area. But I think that has completely changed because you can have one banking license and you can do business all over Europe. That's something we're doing. And obviously, if you have a much bigger potential customer base and much smaller overhead, then it's something that you can really accelerate and build a much better product. Tell you a little bit about our product. So we have a fully banking license. You can open an account with us and get a card attached to it. And you can actually do all the things you expect from a bank. From using it as a salary account, you can do transfers, you can do international transfers, and so on. And we're building kind of a one-touch access to all the cool fintech products that you have maybe seen today on stage, but that are also not here, but also great products. To show you a little bit of some highlights of our product, I think one big highlight for us is that people can open an account completely and fully digital. We do a video verification of your identity, and it takes you around 6 to 8 minutes. If you compare that to one of the more traditional banks in Germany, where you need to put like 13 offline signatures to open an account, you see that it's a completely different process than with most of other banks. We try to do all the products that we're offering to the customers, be it an overdraft, which is a short-term financing functionality, or anything else, we try to do it in real time. So that means if you apply for an overdraft, we do risk scoring in the same second, and you get the money immediately if you're approved. So if you're in a store, you want to buy something, but your account balance isn't sufficient, then you can just apply for an overdraft, and 2 seconds later, you have 2,000 additional euros, for example. And I think improving also how you do the processes in the background, especially in banking, is one of the most important things you have to do to lower also cost and give customers a better user experience. We have obviously also thought about how do you replace traditional ATM networks and how do you replace the main cost drivers in retail banking. And one of the main cost drivers for us is obviously cash and maintaining the ATM infrastructure. And obviously, we're not a bank in a traditional way that we have branches. We don't have our own ATM network, but we offer our clients to use the ATMs all around the world based on the MasterCard logo. But what we've thought about, how can you lower the cost there? So what we did actually, we integrated with around 8,000 stores in Germany, the big retail chains and a couple of others. And you can now go into such a store, create a barcode on your smartphone, and you can either withdraw money or pay in cash. And why is it great? Because of two things. First, you do cash recycling for the retailers. Second thing, you actually send them leads into the stores, which is great. And you give our customers an opportunity to get cash at 8,000 additional stores, which is much more than most of the German retail banks have as branches. We've also integrated into our product completely seamlessly international transfers. So today you can do an international transfer, which actually for you as a customer looks completely the same like doing an euro transfer. But what we did is, if you select a different currency, let it be Great British Pounds or Swiss francs, we do that in the background with TransferWise. So for you as a customer, it's completely the same experience, but in the background, this is fueled by TransferWise. What is the benefit for you as a customer? Normally, it's 5 times cheaper than with any traditional bank. It's a completely slick process. You see the exchange rate in real time. And that's one of the examples on how we try to build our fintech hub. TransferWise is one of our great partners, and I think it's a really cool product. If you use it, you will figure out what makes it great. We've recently also integrated an investment product, so you can invest into different ETF portfolios. We're working on also a savings product where you can do interest arbitrage. We're also working on a couple of other options in the investment area. And I think again here, normally if you think about investing, you're maybe thinking about going into a bank branch, and the process maybe takes an hour to discuss with the guy there, takes maybe 10 signatures, and then you can do an investment. With us, if you do an investment, it takes 5 clicks, and then it's invested. So I think that's something where you can really improve the user experience. What now made our startup successful? And I think it's really the user experience. I think we try to center everything we do around the customer, and a lot of banks have forgotten about the customers. So that's, I think, what we have done completely different, and where we have been kind of great. I think most of the users really like our experience, and I think today it's that you should invest 90% in the user experience and maybe 10% in marketing. And exactly that's what we're doing. We almost invest nothing in marketing, and we invest most in our product. And I think that really paid off. Let me talk a little bit about the fintech platform that we're building and why we think that makes a lot of sense. I think all the companies that you're seeing here in the fintech track or that you see in the fintech space in general have unique and great products and are solving problems in completely different ways with completely different cost structures in the back and a much, much better user experience. And I think if you rebundle all of these energy that is out there, you can actually not be kind of hunted by the big bank sharks, but you can actually hunt them. And I think that is very important to understand. If you leverage all that, what is happening in fintech today, and bring it into one experience, I think then you can beat every bank because you have the better products in each dimension of any other bank. And I think that's what we're trying to build. In the end, that's going to be a network of the best startups and fintech companies from around the world. Could also be more traditional companies. Could also be like companies that are unique and more traditional. I think for us, it's not so important if it's startups or others. Give you a little bit of a perspective what we're doing today and what is coming up next year. So today, our main markets are Germany and Austria, where we have 95% of our customers. We've just recently gotten our own banking license, so currently we're migrating all the customers and splitting from our traditional banking partner. And we try actually to, once we have established kind of our own banking infrastructure, which we're now migrating to, we'll be much more aggressive on international growth. So next year, we'd like to be all over Europe and reach maybe within the next years a couple of million customers. I think the last number we've announced in users is 200,000 in the first 1.5 years. We've processed a couple of billion euros in transactions, so purchasing decisions over our platform, which I think is pretty cool. The press And maybe a little bit about fundraising. So today we have raised a little bit more than 50 million euros from different investors. I think a couple of very good investors from Earlybird being based in Germany, I think also here today. Then I think great US investors backed by Vala Ventures, a fund of Peter Thiel. And the recent round was actually led by Horizon Ventures based in Hong Kong. So we have actually investors based all around the world. And I think if you want to really disrupt an industry like the banking industry, where I think there's a multi-billion-dollar opportunity, you need a little bit of funding. And I think we have the right investors for that. So I think that's everything I wanted to tell you today. Thanks for the attention, and I'm anyway running over time.